7 streams of success here. Back to give you all the diamonds on creating additional streams of income and transitioning out of corporate. All right, today we are going to talk about assessing your finances, right? Because that is super important when you talk about transitioning out of corporate or creating additional income. Everybody always wants to tell you how to start a business and what you should do and A, B, C, D stuff, but nobody tells you about the finances. Nobody tells you how important it is to make sure your finances are good beforehand. Nobody tells you about how important it is to make sure you have a certain amount of money for this and your taxes and your business banking. I mean, so we're gonna start from the beginning, right? Let's just assess it. Let's just go over everything. So let's go. Let's jump right in. All right, so you really have to understand your current financial situation. Just assess it and really figure out what you can do based on what you currently have, right? A lot of us are on fixed incomes, which there's nothing wrong with that, but we really have to figure out where you can move money around to make this work, right? An idea is great, but is it sustainable? Is it something long-term that you can really keep up with based on your current financial situation? That's something you really want to take into consideration. Identify if there are any areas for improvement, right? Because we're not going to be perfect. None of us are perfect. There's lots of things that we could do to prepare ourselves to have a business, right? Just like they tell you have to prepare your credit and your finances to buy a house. It's the same thing. Business is an investment just like a house is an investment, right? They tell you to stop putting stuff on your credit cards. They tell you to slow down on your shopping. They want all of your finances to look good, right? It is the same thing in business. You want to make sure all of that is good before you start your business, because sometimes you're going to need a personal guarantee, which we'll go into that at a later video, to be able to get certain credit cards for your business. So if your personal credit is not good, you're not going to be able to qualify for certain credit cards. Now, does that mean you can't get any credit card? No, of course not. I'm not saying that. But you want to be able to qualify for everything, right? So make sure your personal finances are good. If there's any gaps, anything that you're wasting money on, anything that you want to get better about spending-wise, make sure you take care of that. Go ahead and nip that in the bud as soon as possible, okay? You want to be the representation of how you want your business to come out, right? So if there's something that you could do that you know you should be doing, let's go ahead and do that, right? Let's just be our best personal financial self so that we can be our best business financial self. Like I said, most of us are on a fixed income, right? So you want to make sure the very, 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 very first thing you do before you open any business is have a safety net, right? Let's say your job finds out that you've been researching, somebody told them that you mentioned something about a business that you wanted to start, right? And they decide that they're going to fire you for no reason at all whatsoever. You need to make sure that you are good, that you can pay your bills, that you can take care of everything that you need to take care of without that job, right? And I'm not saying that you can't start having ideas while you're at your job because they're going to potentially fire you. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that no job is guaranteed, right? A lot of them are at will, especially depending on what state you live in and you work in. So be very mindful of that just in general. Even without you deciding to start a business. Let's say you make lots of money and you don't need additional income. Your income is perfect. You don't want any additional income streams. You're totally fine with how much you make. You still should have a safety net. You still should have some amount of money that is put somewhere to the side that you can use for emergencies. So this is applicable to everybody. And I don't mean like a savings account, just a savings account, right? Because the savings account is money in one place. You need money in several places. You need money in the house. You need money spread out. Your money should never be in one place. Your money needs to be in at least 3. 3 different places, okay? And this is just your personal money, right? Because what if your bank is hacked? Like, I'm sure you guys remember the whole Wells Fargo thing, where everybody who had Wells Fargo couldn't get into their accounts for periods of time. So, like, really keep that in mind. You should always, always, always have your money split up. So, personal safety net. Super, super, super important before you even get started. You really want to make sure that you know how much that is and that you can plan accordingly with that and not mess up your actual finances while you're starting your business. So we're going to talk about some tips to get her done, right? To make some improvement. We want to reduce all the non-essential spending, right? And this is something that you kind of want to get used to anyway, because as a business owner, all your money's going to be going towards your business. All that shopping and all those random strenuous things, you better make it relate to your business or you're not going to be able to buy it, which is why making your business your passion is super important, right? I had an infatuation with hair. So I have a hair business. Now I can buy all the hair I want, right? So that's kind of where your goals and your vision and all of the alignment makes sense, right? Let's say I wanted to start a fishing rod company because there were not a lot of fishing rod companies. Let's say there's a monopoly on the fishing rods. That's going to be a little bit harder, right? Because I'm going to have to spend money on that, plus spend money on all the stuff that I like to spend money on, which is fine, right? That's totally feasible. But kind of makes more sense to do, both in one. So all of my businesses are passion businesses. I suggest everybody pick a passion business because then it doesn't feel like work. It feels like fun. So with that being said, that kind of plays into the non-essential shopping, right? I was going to get coffee every day, and then I decided I'm just going to go get some ground coffee, and I'm going to make coffee in the house, right? I make cold brew, I put it in a little container, and then I can just pour it as I need it. So there's lots of things that you can do to alter your little everyday or every week or your normalcy of non-essential items. That is going to be super imperative to you being a business owner or you creating your additional streams of income, because that extra money that you're not spending could just go into your business, right? You're wondering where the extra $200 comes from. Maybe you're one of those people who buys lunch every day. Bring a sandwich. So what? It's boring. You'll eventually own a business that's worth a lot of money and you'll create generational wealth for your family, and then you will not care about the lunch that you had to eat for 6 months or something like that. Bigger picture is not a big deal. Really keep that in mind when you think that you are taking away from yourself or not giving yourself something that you really want, because that's not necessarily the case. You are just shifting your mindset to really feel like this other thing that you want is just more important right now, which is okay. So keep that in mind. Money can always come from somewhere. You'd be surprised when you shift your money and you shift your mindset, how much extra money you have. And a way to increase saving just in general, a lot of banks, especially non-traditional bank, I suggest everybody get a non-traditional bank. We'll go into non-traditional banks in another video, but I think everybody should get a bank account where they will allot you to save a certain amount of money automatically, right? So my account is set up so that every incoming amount of money that comes in, that they take 10% of it and they put it into a savings account, right? So this is where having like your savings on top of your net helps, right? Because your safety net is money that you're purposely putting to the side, right? Let's say you take $500 out of every paycheck and $500 goes towards your safety net, right? But your savings is just, oh, well, this money came in, let me take 10%. Or I even know some cards where when you swipe your card, for every purchase that you make, it makes you save. So let's say you spent $100 on some shoes, right? And you said you want to save 10%. It would take $10 and put that in your little savings account. So there's lots of ways that you can do this. You can also do this manually. If you really wanted to keep yourself accountable, I think that will also cut down on the first thing we talked about, which was unnecessary spending, right? Because then you see where your money's going and your goal is very clear because it's in a whole different account. So you have to be really intentional to go in that other account to get that money out. So those are the biggest suggestions that I can tell you. as far as making sure you're really setting yourself up and making sure that you're improving and making sure that all of your financial woes are cleared up or getting cleared up, right? Because even building your credit takes time. So you're in the process of getting everything cleared up to make sure it's really good. So when you start your business, it's all up from here. Is it something you could do yourself? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think you have to know what you're doing in order to do it yourself, right? So if there's something you've never done, you know, all of the information that I'm speaking about is based on we know what to do. We just don't do it because, we prefer to do whatever. Like most of the time, right? We know not to speed, but we speed because we like going fast. So it's kind of the same thing. But let's say you don't know, right? Maybe you just were never taught. You just are not, very familiar with any of this stuff. Do not hesitate to contact a financial advisor. Do not hesitate, right? Because somebody giving you advice from a personal perspective of what they see on your finances is going to be super important and imperative to you. There's no way you could go wrong by seeing a financial advisor, even if you only see them one time, right? Let's say you just wanted to get an outline or an overview. You're not really interested in seeing somebody on a normal basis to help you keep up everything. Seeing them that one time is going to be super important, right? Because they're going to tell you things that maybe you didn't see. They're going to give you a different point of view. And make sure that you be very open to the information, right? Because that's something that you're also going to have to learn in business when you start creating additional streams of income. Everything's not going to go right. Everybody's not going to tell you yes, and you're not always going to get to have your way. So be very open to the financial advisor. Take all of the information that they give you. Take the advice because it definitely will help better set you up for success in the future. All right, y'all. So that is the breakdown of the best ways I think that y'all should really assess your finances before you jump into a business, before you start creating additional streams of income, even the ones that don't require you to have startup money, right? Because I think that's a misconception that just because you don't require startup money that you won't require money to run it. You always require money to run it. No business is free to run, right? Your time is valuable. Your time is money. Let's say you're an attorney and you get paid $600 an hour, right? Where you're going to be spending time working on your digital products. Time is money, no matter what people say. It is. So be very cognizant of that, right? So you want to make sure that your money is set up good. So when you go into your business, your time is spent wisely, that your time is not wasted because, once again, that's going to cost you a lot of money, right? So instead of paying more money on the back end because you didn't want to get everything straight up front, just get your finances straight. It definitely will behoove you in the future. So that is all for this video. We're definitely going to be dropping some other videos soon, so make sure you check them out. CEOs, as always, it was a pleasure.
You don't need permission to make your mark. The most iconic streetwear brands made ours, theirs. Now it's your turn. Champion what moves you.
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash for glowing skin in 14 days. Find your Olay today.
In your new book, This Is Why You Dream, you make the bold assertion that perhaps the reason we sleep is so that the brain can dream.
I do, yeah. And I think what's helped me with this book is to really think about it in a way where it could be a conversation.